Hi, everyone. It's Christina with Landscape Management Magazine, and I'm here today with Jared Rice, Executive Vice President of Weathermatic, and Scott Needham, President of ProQual Landscaping, number 117 on our LM150 list. And guess what we're talking about? We're talking about the LM150 list. So thanks for joining me, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Jared, why don't we start with you? What stood out to you this year about the LM150 list?
Good question. I was probably the one thing that stood out to me was there was some new people. Been watching this list for a long time, and so recognized a lot of familiar faces, but seeing some new people join the list was pretty exciting. And then I think from my vantage point, I'm able to really build relationships with a lot of these companies, internal, so kind of know the not just the numbers that are shown on the 150, but some of the backstories as well too. And kind of what I've been noticing is a lot of people, and you see the success, right? I think that the number was 16% growth on average across the board there. So that's pretty exciting. So being able to see double digit growth is always exciting. And then the people that are doing it, acquisition's kind of the big thing this past year, been a big thing the past few years. But I also think another thing that was interesting to me is two things. One, it seems like our industry, and I don't know what to attribute this to, but there's been a lot of information shared between either competitors or across different markets. And so I think that's led to a lot of best practices, and they say rising tide raises all ships, right? And I think that's been pretty cool to see. And then also, I think there's been a lot of intentionality around process improvement. And so, we're, as an industry, we're taking a look, and probably because of a couple different factors. One is, we're heavy on the labor side, so we have to get creative. We're constantly looking for process improvements, and the people that are able to really deliver that and execute those process improvements have been able to make this list and show that 16% plus growth.
So Scott, it's a really unique perspective. You're on the list, but you're also looking at the list. So, what stood out to you?
It's interesting you say that 16% is that average. I mean, since 2010, we've been on that trajectory of a 16% year over year growth. And, I don't think I've necessarily looked at this list to try to be on it necessarily, but we found our way on it a few years ago. And I kind of look back and see just to share what like Jared was saying, and just process improvement, and I feel like we've kind of had this law of attraction where clients are coming to us seeing what we're providing, and kind of with Weathermatic in particular. I mean, water management's been a big key to our success. And when we're managing not only the community's largest assets, but also one of their biggest spends with utilities, it's really interesting just to see how the people in our space that are focused on processes, sharing information, working together, honestly, right, and not necessarily competing in a bad way, but competing in a good way, and really bringing people up. It's really fun to see our industry as a whole just becoming even more professional, and really providing value to our customers. And I think that's been something that's been just really fun to see. And I feel like those companies that are really truly providing the highest value are really growing the most as well. So I think that's really a trend that I'm seeing, is those that are helping each other and help push each other and our entire industry as a whole in an upward momentum are probably finding the biggest benefit as I look at this list.
Is there anything that you want to share about what it's like being on the LM150 list? Share what the experience is of knowing you made the list.
It's interesting. I mean, we've been doing this now, started ProQual just over 19 years ago. And, obviously started with smaller accounts, smaller things. And as we continue to grow, I'd always looked at that list, right? Opened up that magazine and said like, wow, one day maybe, and it was more of a dream at one point. But, as we got closer, and got, I think it was about 3 years ago where we were like 122, like that first year. And it's really pretty cool to be able to open up that list and to see your name on there. And when you really look at, how many landscape contractors there are in the country, and to be in that top 150, I mean, that's pretty cool. And and again, it's just it's given me some goals to set. It's given me some role models, and it's given me some I admire and I look up to pretty much every single company on that list, because I know what it takes to get there. And it takes a lot of risks, determination, skill, and so it's really neat to be on that list. And I take a lot of pride in it for sure. If you want to make the top 150 list, it's like set goals, build a team, utilize resources, look at your competitors, see what they're doing, see how we could work as a team to continue to grow, utilize technology, improve operational efficiencies, and nothing, there's no substitute for good old-fashioned hard work.
Well, thank you so much, Jared and Scott, for joining me today. It's been a great conversation.
Thank you, Christina.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. It's been awesome.